Guys, welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As you can see, this is going to be our special Friday night thing to do, and that's recap the Sex and the City spinoff. And just like that, I have a lot of opinions. If you didn't know, the Sex and the City spinoff is now available on HBO Max. It's now available. Head on over there if you haven't seen it, but I think if you're here, you've seen it. And there are 2 episodes available. 2 episodes. We're going to unpack all of them. I am going to drop the call-in link for you guys to call in and share your thoughts. I've been a fan of Sex and the City for a very long time. I know you guys can't see me. We're going to get into some things. Because if you watch this episode, then you know we had a death. Look, we had a death in the family. And we have to talk about it. We have to break it down. Don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. If you're watching the recap of this, I want to know your thoughts on this new spinoff. Do you think it's good? I will share my thoughts in just a second. But we had a death. We had a death. And just like that, Carrie is alone. Big died. Big died. A lot of you did not expect it. We heard rumors that this was going to happen in the Sex and the City spinoff. Hey, y'all. I know I had to be dramatic. I had to give you guys this moment. We had to have this moment. Yes, that was the actual music that Lily was playing when Big was having his heart attack. But before we get there, I'm a little emotional. I'm a little emotional about this. All right. So if you didn't know I was a fan, I hope you guys have something spicy to drink. You know, I don't drink, so I got some eggnog. It's not laced. It's not. I'm glad you know. I'm wearing black. I can't. Lord. The eggnog is good, though. The eggnog's hitting. Well, first of all, we are going to be recapping the Sex and the City spinoff and Just Like That every single Friday. Every single Friday. As long as I don't have a date or plans. I already know I have plans next Friday, so we will figure it out. But regardless, have something to drink. Put on your best outfit. Have your best shoes. I got the Sex and the City book. Okay? I got the DVD collection, even though my DVD player hasn't seen the light of day in forever. Plus, I have HBO Max and I don't need one. And of course, you have to have your best shoes. Ladies, I know the majority of the people that follow me are ladies, but there are some guys too. Hey guys, and the ladies' husbands, get out your best shoes. These aren't my best. They were the first ones I could grab because I forgot. Get out your best shoes. Sorry, y'all. I'm pressing all kinds of buttons. Get out your best shoes. Put them on. Look, put them on while you're listening to this. All right, Paul Evans. They sent this to me. I didn't even pay for these. Those are the best type of shoes. Guys, go get your best shoes. I don't care what you're doing. You're not hosting the show. Go get your best shoes, put them on, get something spicy to drink, get a snack. Let's get into this and Just Like That recap, please. Let's get into it. Hold on. Ooh, here we go. I'm pressing all kinds of buttons. I can't put them on because, look, I'm working. Can you imagine me trying to take calls and do this at the same time? Come on now. Let's be real. But you can. Get up. Go put your best heels on, your Manolos, whatever. Put them on, dance around the room. All right. I love the shoe tribute. Yeah. There's a lot to unpack. The one great thing about the writers and the producers of Sex and the City was their attention to detail. The only thing that I don't love is at the end of each episode, we don't get anyone talking about what happened in the episode. Maybe bringing attention to certain parts that maybe we missed, because they're very good about throwing back to history. Like Sharon, what was her name? I wrote her name down. Susan Sharon. Some of you probably don't remember who that is. Spoiler alert, guys. If you're watching this, more than likely you already watched the Sex and the City spinoff and Just Like That. Big is gone. Big dies in the very first episode. At the end of the episode, she simply says, and just like that, Big died. A lot of you had very strong reactions to Big dying. I heard rumors of it, but then it became very clear to me that he was going to die when the music started and just the drama of the music and the way that they were showing that scene. I was like, And then when you rewatch it, there are hints to them leading to this. There are hints. Let's get into the Peloton drama. There's Peloton drama. So, look, we're covering the show, but we got to talk about what's going on in the news. Peloton stock went down 11.5% after this aired. This is not good. So shares of Peloton, the fitness company, fell 11.3%. I apologize for the mistake. Thursday, tumbling to a 19-month low after a key character in the HBO Max Sex and the City revival and Just Like That was shown dying of a heart attack after a 45-minute workout on one of the company's exercise bikes. The stock continued to slide today, down more than 5% in the mid-morning trading. According to Peloton, the company had approved the show's use of the bike, as well as the appearance of a quote Allegra, a fictional instructor played by real-life Peloton cycling instructor Jess King. However, Peloton did not know that And Just Like That, which premiered yesterday, would show Mr. Big, played by Chris Noth, collapsing and then dying after a Peloton workout. Mr. Big was the on-again, off-again love interest of protagonist Carrie Bradshaw, as we all know. And just like that, Big died is what they reference to at the end of the scene. But guys, I know a lot of people are going to automatically, even Steve in the second episode is like, he shouldn't have been on that bike. You think Peloton's going to sue them? This is not good. 11. I know it sounds small, 11.3%, but when you're thinking about millions of dollars, and to be honest with you, if you just watched it that one time, this scene, this first episode of the Sex and the City spinoff, then you probably would have been like, yeah, it kind of makes you think that he died from the heart attack. But no, if you rewatch the episode, it shows all the things that would lead to a heart attack: the drinking, the eating, the smoking of cigars. And then in episode 2, when Cynthia Nixon's character, Miranda, has the conversation with Steve, does Steve really have a hearing problem in real life? Why did they write that in? And that's just why I say I love the show, because Steve, the real guy in real life, probably doesn't have a hearing thing. They're probably just trying to give us something else for the future that we don't know just yet. But Steve says, blaming the bike. But Cynthia says to him, no, it was his lifestyle. It was some of the things that he did. He went to a cardiologist and they said it was okay for him to work out, covering themselves in a lawsuit. I don't think Peloton will be suing them. However, Peloton is suffering right now. But as I said to you before, there were signs in the episode. But in response, Peloton's pointed to Mr. Big's unhealthy lifestyle choices as the likely cause of his demise, rather than the fact that his death was precipitated by his use of the company's exercise bike. Prior to hopping on the Peloton bike, Big is seen puffing on a cigar right before Carrie leaves for Charlotte's daughter's recital. So this is what they're saying. It says, I'm sure the Sex and the City fans like me are saddened by the news that Mr. Big dies of a heart attack. Cardiologist Dr. Suzanne Steinbaum, a member of the Peloton's Health and Wellness Advisory Group, said in a statement released by the company. Mr. Big lived what many would call an extravagant lifestyle, including cocktails, cigars, and big steaks, and was at serious risk as he had a previous cardiac event in season 6. We almost forgot about that. And some of you ask me, do you need to watch previous seasons? It helps. It helps. These lifestyle choices, and perhaps even his family history, which often is a significant factor, were likely the cause of his death. Riding his Peloton bike may have even helped delay his cardiac event. That was the doctor that works for Peloton speaking. But the way that they made it seem, you would think it was the bike, but no. But we'll get back to that scene. Let's start at the top of this episode, guys. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the Sex and the City spinoff. And just like that, a lot of people had mixed feelings. They were like, I don't know about this. Samantha's not coming back. As you know, Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker, there's really not, I'm not going to even say it's a feud. It's really all Kim Cattrall. Kim Cattrall is the one who does not want to come back. We've heard rumors of the things that she wanted in order to come back. We also, as you know, I reported that the producers and writers have left the door open for Kim Cattrall to come back. And we had no idea, because we heard rumors they were going to kill her off, during the season and start afresh. But no, that's part of the reason why I titled this live, The Ghost of Samantha, because they do such a great job of keeping the door open for Kim Cattrall to come back. You really have these moments. You still have the character of Samantha in the story. In the first episode and even in the second episode. So basically the reason why, this is what they're saying, the beef, we know the beef offline, what was going on between SJP and Kim Cattrall. Okay. But apparently, Carrie, the character, has a beef with Samantha because she has to fire Samantha because she's like, the book world is not where it's at anymore. I don't need a publicist. And Samantha takes it personally. So personally that she stops talking to all of the ladies and moves to the UK. I apologize, guys. I wanted to get through the recap before I started looking at the comments, but I see that you guys are all a part of the conversation. You will have an opportunity to call in. Let's get to 200 likes, and I'll drop the call-in link so you guys can call in and share your thoughts on episode 1 and 2 of And Just Like That, the Sex and the City spinoff. Okay? At the top of this episode, again, if you've been a fan, you understood who this woman was. But if you have never watched the show, you're probably like, who's Bitsy? Bitsy was married to Nathan Lane's character, who we find out in episode 2 dies from COVID. So they're staying so relevant to what's going on in the world. Also, proper terms, the whole woke movement, the whole I'm an ally. Miranda. Oh, Miranda. I like what they're doing with Miranda, though. Miranda might have a drinking problem, right? I don't think people noticed it, but as soon as she was supposed to go to her class, and before she went to class, she said, let me go get a drink, but it was early in the morning. I said, uh-oh. Is Miranda does she have a drinking problem? She brings wine to the recital at the funeral. Before anyone can drink, she's like, can I get a drink? This is what I love. I respect good writing, good acting, and just good producing. And we're getting all of that. I don't care what anyone says. And I told you guys, if I didn't like this damn thing, I would, of course, tell you. But I was going to recap it regardless because I am such a big Sex and the City fan. But they did no wrong. And look, you might have a different opinion, and I'm willing to hear it. I'm willing to hear it. If you're watching the replay, I want to hear your criticism of the show and the things that you loved about the show. Ebony says the acting is amazing. The ladies can act their asses off. I agree. And shout out to the writers. Shout out to the executive producers. Shout out to SJP. I don't care what Kim Cattrall has to say about her. JDW says you have to watch the show for context. Yes, you can watch it without it. However, it's going to help you. So it's going to make that big moment. And when I say big moment, I mean, John, that moment mean even more to you. I literally playing the photos for you guys. Mind you, I planned and plotted this. I knew that this was coming. I knew what music I was going to play. I'm getting emotional backstage. I'm like, remember that? I'm all right, y'all. Meme says SJP is a draw everywhere she goes. Like, this is an iconic role for Sarah Jessica Parker. Of course, we've seen her do other things, but Carrie Bradshaw is an iconic moment in television, in fashion, and this really has become who she is. And it's hard to to live up to what she created with that character. And just like that is, I think it's good. I think it's good. Naturally Nerdy says, I noticed it. She's always drinking. I think we're going to see a little bit later on in the season what that means for Miranda. But Miranda, this episode, she's, during the pandemic, a lot of people got woke. I need that soundbite because Carrie has a podcast. And damn it, I can't think of the actress's name or actor's name. I'm not sure what she goes by or what pronoun she goes by. But Shay Diaz, the comedian, who we also know and love from Grey's Anatomy, love the addition, love how diverse this cast has become. We got to see Nicole R.E. Parker. Yes, Aiden will be making an appearance this season from what we hear. I don't need them to get back together, though. I have a feeling that the podcast producer, who we just got to see glimpses of, and Carrie might have a thing. I can't remember what I've seen him in before. He's been in a few things too. The podcast producer who we just saw, we didn't hear him say or do anything. Logan, I know, but Shay, it's now Shay Diaz, so I'm not sure. We didn't get a lot from Nicole R.E. Parker these first 2 episodes, but they introduced her. She looks amazing. She looks amazing. The fashions on her, she's just like, I'm looking forward to, because this is what I love about Sex and the City. They're not going to force down our throats a story before they're building the story. And we've been critical of shows like Queens that hasn't done that, but I also feel like, especially when it's a minority-driven show, they feel the pressure to put out the content because who knows if they're going to get that opportunity. SJP is a big boss over at HBO. They're going to give her the time to build out this show, and I think that's exactly what they're doing. I'm going to see what you guys are saying. I saw Layla in here. Where did Layla go? Layla, what's going on, Layla? Layla, you're a Sex and the City fan? Girl. Yes, Chanel says Nicole R.E. Parker's outfit at the recital was beautiful. It was amazing. She looks amazing in the outfits. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with her character. I know we're going to have more women of color be a part of this cast in the future episodes. But again, they're not rushing. They're not rushing this, which I can appreciate. I can really, really appreciate that. Yes, DGF was the podcast producer in Brothers and Sisters with Sally Field. Yes, that was him. That was him. I couldn't think of where I've seen him before. I mean, they have all kinds of jobs, but anyways. So Bitsy, I've digressed so much. Bitsy at the top of the episode. Remember Bitsy? She was married to Nathan Lane's character, obviously very gay, Nathan Lane, and she married him anyway. We find out he dies of COVID. We found that out in episode 2, though. Episode 1, we just see Bitsy. Bitsy's still Bitsy. Of course, they dress. Where's Samantha? Samantha and Carrie have a beef. But here's the thing, guys. As grown people, if you're in your 20s, you probably can't relate. You're still best friends with some of your friends from high school. Blah, 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 blah. Lucky you. In real life, as you get older, your friend groups change because some of your friends are getting married and people change. People evolve, hopefully. And I think that's a natural progression. Yes, Carrie and Miranda and Charlotte have remained friends. But it doesn't shock me that Samantha and Carrie would have a falling out. Samantha has always been this very whimsical person. And I'm glad they didn't force us with a new Samantha-esque type person. I'm sure we're going to get some of that, but I'm glad they didn't force that. They're easing us into this. BB says, oh my God, I'm having a girlfriend's nostalgia moment. That's another thing I'm looking forward to them doing. But the creator behind that says she's, there's a certain amount of money she needs to do it. I don't blame her. I don't want her to half-ass it either. All right, do you guys have your spicy drink? Do you have your heels on? We're making this a thing. Okay, sorry. Exactly. Facts. Your friends can change over time. I used to have the tightest friend group. I got rid of those motherfathers with the quitness. Not to get rid of them, but I stopped forcing friendships. But Carrie says that she's reached out to Samantha multiple times. And the lovely thing we see in episode 2, Carrie going through, I had to rewind it back because I was like, who is she texting? It was Samantha. And then you see the chain of text messages that was sent by Carrie and no response from Samantha. Kim Cattrall, I understand you don't like SJP for whatever reason, but this is work. Can you make a comeback in season 2? Can you just make a comeback in season 2? Okay, maybe season 3. There's gonna be multiple seasons, y'all. I am ready. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. I am. This is eggnog, y'all. I don't drink, and this is not laced eggnog. This is regular eggnog. I hope you guys have something spicy to drink, though. Speaking of spicy, guys, let me just give you this little reminder. The holidays are right around the corner, guys, and Coldest Water just let me know that ground shipping, today is the last day in order to get your Coldest Water bottle or any Coldest product to your home by Christmas. is today. Go get your coldest water bottle. It's my favorite. Comes in multiple sizes, multiple colors. Keeps your water cold for 36 plus hours. Plus, they have sales going on, 50% off. And you can take an additional 10% off with the KEMP10 discount code. More information is available in the description of this video. Get your coldest water bottle today. Christmas is, what's today's date? 15 days away. Back here. Back to this. So let me just highlight some of my favorite. Okay, Brady having sex. Miranda's son, Brady having sex. I had to remind myself, Brady's her only child. We're seeing another level of overprotectedness from Miranda. Remember Miranda? We never thought Miranda would have a kid. But the evolution of this woman and how she is still like this helicopter mom. But a helicopter mom, would you allow your kid to have sex in your home? Watching Brady have sex was not fun for me. It was awkward. It was very, very awkward. Right? Sass, you were reading my mind. No way in hell would Miranda allow her 17-year-old to have sex in her house. Brady was born in season 4. So now he's only 17. Calm down over there, miss. we have to let some of those facts go, okay? There's a reason for their madness. There's a reason for their madness. The knocking of the headboard at 17, I would not be alive. Boxer girl, absolutely not at that age. I'm wondering if it's gonna make, we gotta trust these producers and these writers. It's going to make sense. It's going to make sense to us. But I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. But I love seeing Brady older. It's the same actor, right? It's the same actor that we've got in the movies and things like that. Okay. Let me just cover certain areas, guys. Okay. Carrie's podcast. So Carrie has a podcast. And Carrie, who we all thought back in the 90s was innovative for her time. She was talking about sex, female sex, when a lot of females weren't talking about sex the way that she was in her column, is now outsexed and outcooled by Shay and her other co-hosts. And when they bring up sex and they're talking about sex in her own personal sex life, she gets very uncomfortable. Remember, though, she's now a woman of a certain age. She's a married woman. And what was provocative during the 90s is not so provocative in 2021. But I love how they do address certain changes that have happened in our society. Like when Carrie was at Big's funeral and Big's secretary comes in and she was like, she likes that title. I just used to work for a law firm. They still call their secretaries secretaries. What are they supposed to call now? Administrative executive? What's the right term? Personal assistant? We'll get back to that. So Carrie is a little uptight. And I was just like, oh, it makes sense to me. It makes complete sense to me. Hold on. Assistants, executive assistants. But what if they're not an executive? Wait a second. Storm says Shay will be the comedic relief. That's what you would think. Shay is an actual comedian on the show. However, Stanford. First of all, if you guys didn't know, the actor that played Stanford passed away. I did a quick report on that just a couple of months ago. I'm so glad that he was able to be a part of season 1, but during the time of him filming this season, he was fighting cancer. I wonder how they're going to handle the loss of Stanford's character next season. Are they just going to make it a death? Are they going to make it like he left? I hope they don't just make it like he left, because that just leaves the door open for him to come back. But he had so many moments that made me chuckle. Stanford, can we just take a sip for Stanford? Oh. goodness. For those that are in my TikTok chat, we are talking about Sex in the City, the spinoff, and just like that. Guys, we're live on multiple platforms, including my TikTok. We're also live on Twitch and Twitter at TheKempire. And we are live on the Kempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. And of course, the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. Yeah, so Stanford gave me a lot of really funny moments. But Stanford also gives us, look, I know a gay couple very much like Stanford and Anthony, where you're around them and they're always bickering. It's a little uncomfortable, but funny at the same time. So we get a lot of that. But when Big, unfortunately, passes, they're like, I love you. Let's stop bickering. However, Stanford can't help himself. He can't help himself. All right. So the recital happens. We get to see more of Nicole R.E. Parker. We get to see Lily. Okay, sidebar. Charlotte, these ladies are superb in playing these characters. I've seen them play other people. They don't play the other people as well as they play these characters from Sex and the City. Miranda, Charlotte, Carrie. So they're at this recital. Of course, Charlotte is being Charlotte. But you remember, if you watch the movies, the Sex and the City movies, Charlotte's baby, Rose, Charlotte had a breakdown because of the amount of crying that Rose did. So Rose continues to be the most challenging child that Charlotte has. Okay? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I just saw something that I need to block. There we go. All right. Hold on, y'all. I was just doing some stuff. I saw some things. Lily's dress was amazing. Lily continues to be the best child. She continues to be the best child. Yes. And of course, we know that Rose was the miracle baby because Charlotte didn't think she could have kids. She ended up having Rose. Rose in the movies was very, I'm going to say colicky. Was she colicky or she was just a bit, she cried a lot. So I was wondering what Rose would be today. And Rose continues to be that same child challenging everything that Charlotte is. The woman that we know Charlotte to be, Rose is the complete opposite. The complete opposite. Rose someone said spoiled. She's the favorite child. Who's the favorite child? You mean Lily, right? Kempire has troll. No, look, all of us get trolls. Look, all of us get trolls. But I think those are just like YouTube random. I think we got them though, right? Meme said Big took Charlotte to the hospital to have her. Oh, remember that scene from the movie? See, this is why it's important to really watch the show and the movie because you remember these moments. And so when you think about how these characters feel about Big once he dies, you remember those moments. Dante, thank you so much. Okay, I love that you're discussing the episodes. And normally we recap reality TV, but as you know, we have recapped some scripted television before when it's worth it. We started with Queens and Insecure, but they've kind of gotten lackluster. But I had promised. I said I will be watching the Sex and the City spinoff, and it looks like we are all in because it's so good. So Carrie is at this recital. She's at the recital. And Big is on the bike. Lily's performing. The music is escalating. And I knew it was coming. Partly probably because I heard the rumors that Big dies. I heard the rumors. But I didn't think he would die in the first episode. He's on the bike. But there are signs, guys. This is why you have to pay attention. He starts grabbing his left arm. Sidebar, y'all. I got a little concerned, but I was like, wait, no, you got your booster today. I got my booster COVID vaccine today. I was like, wait a second, I'm a little sore. False alarm. I did start Harlem. I literally only watched one episode. I gotta let me get into it. Let me see how I'm feeling. I never really loved Megan Good as an actress, but there are other people a part of the show. So And I love that we're getting some new actresses. I know the Grace from Empire's in it as well. So a lot of people said they love Harlem. All right, y'all. I don't have enough time in the day. Can we watch it over the weekend and then we'll figure out a day and time to talk about it? Layla says, I hope you love Harlem. Okay, I'm only in episode 1. Give me a moment. But then all of a sudden, people were telling me Sex and the City dropped. So I said, oh, pause. So I have to get into it. But like I said, Megan Good, though, is actually good in Harlem in the first episode. Okay, Casey says, yeah, Harlem grows on you. Look, I like anything in New York. Anything that's based around New York, which is part of the reason why I love Sex in the City. Anything based around New York, I've had this love affair with New York. Mind you, I live here in New York. But seeing New York on film, seeing New York play a character in a show is so cool to me, especially now it's a different part of New York. So I'm interested. I'm interested in Harlem, and all of you have been telling me to watch it. So I always pay attention to what you guys are saying. So anyways, let's get back to this. We will talk about Harlem on a separate day. All right. Right now where are we in the city? Upper West Side, Upper East Side if we're over by Charlotte's. All right. Yes, Selling Tampa comes out next week. We will be talking about that too, because I'm all for those ladies too. Yes, Diana says New York is the star of Sex in the City. Joanna, we talked about that at the top of this. The Peloton stock have gone down because of what happened with Mr. Big. Mr. Big, there are signs. He gets off the bike. He's grabbing his arm. He drops his phone. The part that devastated me the most was that Mr. Big was still alive when Carrie came home. So I said, oh, wait a second. Maybe he won't die. So there was an inkling of hope. Mr. Big looks at her. It's like he waited. And if you've ever had someone pass in the hospital, whatever it may be, and it's almost as if they waited for you before they went. That's what I got from this scene. Mr. Big, he waited for her. Oh, see, y'all gonna make me cry. Stop it with it. Oh, I can't with y'all. I can't with y'all. He hung in there for her. Oh. But then, of course, yes, someone says this. Hold on. Let me grab this. No, it was the shoes. You remember, she didn't get your typical engagement ring. Carrie didn't get your typical engagement ring. She got her blue, the Manolos, right? They had to be Manolos. I don't know shoes, y'all, but it had to be Manolos. Carrie. He gave her those as her engagement ring. She wore those to the recital, and I know a lot of you like me watching that and like, why is she just standing there? Why is she just standing there? When he closes his eyes and falls over, when she goes to grab him and he falls over, you have to pay attention. These producers know what they're doing. The movement of the shoes getting wet is so symbolic and so beautiful at the same time. I said, I am through with you, Michael Patrick King. I am through with you. Yes, Manolo Blahniks. There we go. Yes, I figured they were. I didn't look. I try not to act like, I know everything. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Sex and the City spinoff, and just like that, we're going to add it to our weekly recaps. I know it's a scripted show, but look, you get everything in pop culture. Whatever's hot in pop culture, we're talking about it, including Jussie Smollett getting... Why is Jussie appealing? Stop wasting your time and money and your mother's damn patience and age with you going to court. Sorry. Sorry. Had a moment. Let's get back into Sex and the City. Oh, gosh. So let's move on to episode 2. Big has died. Of course, she calls her friends. Of course, Charlotte, as always, makes everything about her. But understandably, she begged Carrie not to go to the Hamptons, come to the recital. So she has some guilt. She has some guilt. The funeral home visit. There are just so many slight moments you got to pay attention to. The funeral home visit, she's like, this is not Big. He would not like this. Of course, Charlotte makes it about her. She starts crying. The lady comes in. She thinks Charlotte is the grieving wife. Carrie is very much like all of us. I know there are some of us that are like Cynthia Bailey. She probably very emotional. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me. There we go. Sorry. We got apparently we got the trolls out tonight. The trolls are out tonight. Okay. Let me just make sure everyone. I got to do because I don't think the mods. I know you can time out. I don't know if you can block people. Let me know if you can. That way I don't have to worry about that. All right. Amina says, I think Aiden going to come back into play. Yes, we do hear that the actor that plays Aiden is going to come back. I just hope producers, please make it make sense. I don't need her to go back to, to that. Like, let's not go backwards. Let's go forward. Let's go forward. I like the podcast producer for her. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Danielle. I just wasn't sure. That way I can sip on my eggnog and not worry about it. All right. Back to this. Episode 2. Of course, they're planning the funeral. Carrie is being very strong. She's being very, very, very strong. I love how she says to the funeral home director, it's not you, it's me. And again, if you don't understand where that's from, you got to get into this stuff. Okay? We didn't talk about Miranda and Miranda trying to be very woke. The pandemic had a lot of people really thinking about who they are, what they do or want to do. A lot more females got involved in politics. Miranda went to the airport to help those that were being deported and things like that. So Miranda is on this, I'm leaving corporate America in law and I'm going to become an advocate. So I'm going to go and get a master's to do it. Miranda, you didn't have to do all that. She didn't have to do all that. But that's Miranda. Miranda feels like I need to get another degree in order to be a specialist at this. DGF says Carrie was strong and sharp. But she's going to have a breakdown. Cinder Block says, the Sex and the City reboot is brilliant. Take note. This is how TV should be done. I agree with that. Okay. Exactly. MBK, exactly. Miranda is an academic. So this is what she feels she needs to do. But when she meets the professor, who we're being introduced again, Sex and the City finally is getting a little bit more colorful. Where is that actress from? She's been in so many other things. I can't think of what she's been in. She comes in, she has her braids. Miranda makes a thing about it. And then there's this awkward exchange of Miranda trying to make up for that moment every time they meet. They finally get over the hump of that when Miranda saves her from the shenanigans of what happens in the New York City subway, kids acting a fool. That little Chucky, though, if that little Chucky came up to me, I would have, first of all, before he even came close to me, I would have been on the other side of that train, of the subway platform, because all kinds of shenanigans happens on the subway. That's why when you see New Yorkers not react to craziness, it's because we see craziness all the time. And why we try not to talk to people when you're trying to look for directions, and why people ignore you is because they think you're on something, on some mess. That's why. Saves her from Chucky. Oh, I have to say, there's not a lot of shows that make me laugh, but this is one of them. And as I said to you before, it's the people that you least expect that are making me laugh, like Stanford. Again, go rewatch it. Stanford has some really, really funny moments. The series, we got Stanford here and there. I hope that we get Stanford every episode this season, especially because this is his last season. Okay. Yeah, where were the face masks? I thought that from the very first scene when they go to the restaurant. I know in the restaurants you don't have to wear a face mask when you're eating, but you have to wear one to get in. I thought that was interesting. I mean, look, we know it's a set. We know they're testing everyone. We know everyone's good. But if we're going to be real, especially here in New York, Literally, I went out. Look, I went for my booster today. Everywhere, even on the street, when you don't need to wear it on the street, you see people with masks. I don't know. They kind of could have worked on that better. Matthew says, "Can we talk about Carrie starting to pop pills? Will this continue?" I noticed that too. I wonder because remember she has the little back issue. So are these are real issues, people, that are happening in the world for people, not just young people, but older people getting hooked on pills, starting to drink later in life. The pandemic, a lot of people started drinking. God forbid, if you get help for those of you that are concerned about your drinking or addiction. Yep. Dirty Vegas, they ask you for your vaccination card everywhere here in New York City. Yes. But you still see everyone with masks on in New York. So I'm just kind of a little shocked. Well, to be honest with you, when I walk around Manhattan, you don't see that many masks. But of course, when you go into buildings and things like that, you have to wear one. So I'm a little, Yeah. Yeah. Miranda's drinking. It will be interesting. We have to pay attention to these little details because they know what they're doing. They're setting us up for future episodes, scenes. Not sure if we're going to get that in the season. Knowing SJP and knowing Michael Patrick, not that I know them, but you know what I'm saying. Understanding how they think, they already plotted season 2. They've already plotted season 2. All right. All right, guys, where are we with the likes? Let me see what you guys are saying. All right. Let's get to 200 likes, y'all. Let's get to 200 likes. I'll drop the call-in link because I do want to hear what you guys have to say about the Sex and the City reboot. And just like that, I watched it twice. The second time around when I watched it, I had literally was rewinding, pausing, taking notes. I have notes right here. Can y'all just tell my family when I die, I want a funeral just like Biggs? Can y'all just tell them? I want to be cremated as well. But when you have my funeral, I want it to be a New York chic moment. I want it to be art. Simple. Oh, Guillermo, don't tell me that. Stanford's only in the first 3 episodes. How dare they? How dare they? Oh, Ebony, I love the Sex and the City community. I feel safe here. Welcome. Everyone's safe here. This is something we're going to do every single Friday evening. Maybe not next Friday. It's the holidays, y'all. I got things. I got weddings. Look, I got weddings this month. But we're going to be recapping it. The first 2 episodes of this spinoff are now available. I don't know how many episodes. I know, I do know. It's like 10 episodes this season. And the ladies are getting paid like $1 million an episode. $1 million an episode. Good for them. They're also all executive producers this time around. Why did Carrie write Miranda's eulogy? Because I think people expected Carrie to say something, and she's the writer. Remember, she's the writer, and what she wrote was beautiful. This is a really good question. Hold on, Kempire, what do you think of Miranda's hair? That was also a big issue in episode 1. Honestly, in real life, I don't like that because Miranda, she's a certain complexion. It kind of washes out her face. I don't really love that. Maybe if it was more gray than white. I don't love it. But I love the conversation that her and Charlotte have about it. But I don't love it. Yes, Kristen, it's eggnog, but I do have my water here too. I'm trying to sip on some eggnog. I'm already more than halfway through. And it's not laced eggnog. It's regular eggnog. At some point, women get tired of dyeing their hair. Look, I have no idea. All right. Amy says maybe a gray streak. It just sort of washes out her face for me. That's the only reason. I love a woman with beautiful white hair. I love that look. It just, for me, hers is sort of like some gray, some yellow, gray, white. Like it looked good at the funeral, though. It looked good at Big's funeral. I'll give her that. Oh, Lord. The funeral. Of course, Carrie looked chic. The entire funeral looks chic. Again, Stanford. Stanford really made me laugh because Stanford was like, she's giving us Jackie Kennedy. I was like, you know what? Anthony was like, I hope you didn't tell her that. He's like, I already did. These little moments. So Carrie didn't want any flowers. She didn't want any flowers. She even shows up at her beautiful New York City apartment, goals, to flowers and orchids. And, people don't listen. People are just like, this is what you do. But she shows up at the funeral before everyone, and there's this big, beautiful flower bouquet over the casket. And she's like, I didn't ask for this. She goes to the organizers, and they're like, it was sent, and we saw it was sent after we hung up. And she asked, who sent it? And she opens the card and simply says, Samantha. This is why I labeled this live the ghost of Samantha. They are handling, some people, I saw some comments, people saying, I don't like how they're handling the whole Samantha on the show. They just wrote her off as like she's dead. Oh, sorry. Yes. Love Samantha. Sorry, Matthew. Love Samantha. I love how they're handling this because they've left the door open for Kim Cattrall. They're not bashing her character. Kinda. But I believe this is what Samantha would do. Get annoyed and leave the country. But I'm not going to lie. I teared up a little bit when I had a feeling it was from Samantha. But to see and confirm in the note, because Samantha has not responded to any of the ladies. Text messages, they've reached out to her. She has not responded to them. Pretty much like in real life. Maria says, I wish Samantha comes back, but she won't. You never know. But the producers and the writers were so lovely on how they did this. They could have easily wrote of her character. But they didn't. They left the door open. For her. And they're still making her seem like this beautiful person by sending this big, beautiful bouquet to the man she flirted with in season 1. Remember that? Hey, Michael Jackson. I hope she does return too, but you never know. I honestly don't believe what Kim Cattrall is saying about SJP, but I wasn't there. Everyone has a different perception of the way that they were treated, but I don't believe it. So we get to see Bitsy again. Bitsy, what was her name? I forgot her last name. Anyways, Bitsy, we find out the woman that was married to the gay man, played by Nathan Lane. We find out Nathan Lane's character dies. Bobby, he died of COVID, but she wasn't able to have a funeral like this chic funeral because of COVID. So I love how they're going back to those moments. Speaking of going back to moments, so many of you, I'm sure you saw this. If you're a fan like me, when you saw this woman, first of all, call Big a prick at his own funeral. It was a real moment because, yes, Big was a prick at one point. We met this woman. There's already a think piece about this woman, Susan Sharon. We met her in season 2. Remember her husband? It was such an awkward moment. Carrie had given her the advice that maybe, well, not really. She didn't say leave your husband, but that's the way that Susan took it. And apparently Susan feels as if Carrie should have, she needed to forgive Carrie for something. And Carrie was good though, because she sort of played along. She's like, I'm back. She's like, I love you. I'm back. All right, Susan Sharon. But as soon as I saw her, I remembered who she was. And again, these are the moments where if you've not watched the show or the movie, you probably get a little lost. But it was a beautiful moment. Not sure what Susan is upset about. Is she still with that nasty man? Oh, Lord. Oh, gosh. So Mama Bear Miranda comes out. So, before the funeral even starts, Miranda tries to get some alcohol, you know, backstage. I don't know, wherever that room was. She tries to get some alcohol, again, leading us to believe that there might be a drinking situation going on with Miranda because she can't even wait. Then, after the entire funeral happens, which was beautiful, what Miranda said was beautiful, which was written by Carrie. The secretary boo-hooing, let me tell you something. For someone that worked in big corporate America, sometimes the secretaries are a lot closer to their bosses than the bosses to their families, especially if they work long hours, especially these attorneys that work long hours. Big didn't really have this big family. We got to see Big's brother. Did we ever see Big's brother before? All I gotta say, when look, it won't be for a while now, for those that are wishing me dead. But that's the funeral I want. Chic, simple, clean. Put me at the top like an art fixture. Just saying. Matter of fact, don't put me in a wood casket. Put me in a glass casket where you can see me, but I'll be surrounded by flowers. What are we doing right now? What are we doing right now? Hold on, y'all. I don't know. The trolls are out tonight. What is going on? What is happening? Anyways, guys. And it's the same troll. Troll, what are you doing here? Guys, we have almost 600 people watching this Sex and the City reboot and Just Like That recap. Be sure to like the video. If you're watching the replay of this, I want to know about your favorite moments. How would you rate the first 2 episodes of And Just Like That? Live chat from 1 to 10. How would you rate this reboot? How would you rate from 1 to 10? 10 being the best. Let me know in the chat. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. I saw a question. Amy says, Kempire, have you read all the reviews of Sex and City ripped to shreds, killing Mr. Biggs? No Samantha and the over the top woke. You are a doll, but the show is dead. I didn't read the reviews because if I read the reviews, when I review it, I feel it's going to affect what I think. I did see some titles, but reviews don't make a show great. There were terrible reviews of Sex and the City when it was on the air. All right, look, all right. People are saying 100. You guys are the reviewers. If you are watching a show, those are the reviews that only matter. Remember that. 10. Exactly. F the reviews. Kempire is the one that No, you guys are the ones that matter. See, no, screw the review. Show's not dead yet. No, it's not. Wokeness was up. But you know what? I appreciate them adding this wokeness because that is the world that we are living in. Let's not pretend that people are heavy on being woke and saying the right thing and doing the right thing. Look, that is the society that we live in today. So I can appreciate how they're adding that to the show. But this is true. This is the world that we're living in. And it's a good world in a lot of cases because there are a lot of stuff, y'all were scared to say Black Lives Matter at one point, which wasn't a long time ago. Just saying. You got so overwhelmingly, well, I expect for those that are watching this review, you're going to give it a good rating. Some gave it a 6. Some gave it a 6. All right. All right. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, I didn't love that. I cringed at that. I didn't like Anthony calling her Black Charlotte. I kind of cringed at that. I noticed that too. Exactly, Marnie. The original Sex and the City was trashed by critics too. You can't go by critics. HBO is not going by the critics. HBO is going to go by you, the critics. HBO is going to go by the ratings. All right. So just keep that in mind. Either way, I think the first 2 episodes were stellar. I look forward to them. I look forward to running into SJP in New York and telling her that it's stellar. Welcome back. We'll pretend divorce didn't happen. And if you don't know what divorce is, that was also on HBO Max. starring SJP. Okay, we'll pretend that didn't happen. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Urban says I think Samantha will come back. I have a feeling maybe. Logan says I liked him calling her Black Charlotte. It made sense. Well, she really kind of is going to be, it looks like. But we still don't know who Nicole Ari Parker's character is just yet. We're starting to. I don't know if I'm going to give her Black Charlotte just yet. No, Divorce is not coming back. Stop it. I enjoyed Divorce. I watched it, but I don't. All right. I'm going to drop the call-in link, guys. Where are we with? Yes, we are over 200 likes. Let me drop the call-in link because I know you guys have opinions. I have talked enough. I've talked literally over an hour. About this damn show. That's how much I am invested in this new and Just Like That Sex and the City spinoff. Let's drop the call-in link. Let me pin it here. All right. So apparently, some of you like Divorce. Apparently, not a lot though, because it was canceled. Just saying, y'all. Apparently, people like Divorce. Not a lot of people, because it's not back. It got a season 2 because it's SJP. Just saying. All right. I mean, I'm drinking too much eggnog. All right. All right. Let me take some callers, guys. All right. Danielle, are you there? All I see is, oh no. Y'all are a mess back here. Danielle.
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. I guess.
I have my laced eggnog.
Oh, yours is laced. All right, cheers.
Mine is laced with Fireball for those that drink whiskey. Tastes like candy. Here we go.
My Lord.
You said bring out our props.
Oh.
Are my favorites.
Ooh, what are those? Wait.
Oh, these are Bassi Mishkas.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, excuse you. This is hot. I've been drinking. I gotta take this crap off now. in favor of Miranda from Devil Wears Prada, these are my Miranda Tom Ford shades. We love these. Okay.
Oh, she really was into it.
I wasn't ready. Oh yeah, I left my jumbo Chanel bag over there. I was gonna bring that out too because it was part of my ensemble, but I don't have time to run over there and get it. Anyway.
It's all right. It's here in spirit.
One thing that we have not talked about, and I'm sure you caught it, even though we want to say Miranda's woke, Miranda has been some kind of way for a minute. Remember when they were moving to Brooklyn and Brady, and I don't remember the maid, not the maid, but like the nanny's name.
Oh, yes.
When they saw the white guy walking into the building with the baby, she said, "White guy with the baby, follow him."
Yes.
Like that was her safe space. Magda, yes, thank you. Magda was the nanny. She was like, white man with the baby, follow him. So Miranda has been this way for some time.
Yeah. Good point. But you know, I felt like Miranda also represented a lot of people that were trying to be woke during the pandemic.
In these 2 episodes, yes, she did. And she was just an older woman sticking her foot in her throat and didn't know any better. I know she didn't mean any harm. And I appreciate, because in real life we all know Miranda's gay, so she's already kind of woke, I guess. Well, I would like to say so.
Well, she also, she was a big advocate. She ran for governor. She ran for governor.
So I would like to think she's woke in real life. So because of the lifestyle that she lives and because of who she is in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Peloton. I have stock in Peloton, and I just bought some more.
Of course, when it drops, you should buy more.
It's always wise to buy more when it drops. I just text Big Daddy. I was like, Peloton stock is down 11%. I just bought more. So here's the other thing. I don't know when they were filming this scene with Peloton, but I was a consultant for Peloton earlier this year. And Peloton had an issue where they had a death when the 2-year-old died on the treadmill. So I'm wondering if that was kind of like written that way around that time, because it was actually a thing that really happened with Peloton. So I wonder if they kind of already knew something was going to take place when they wrote this part with Big. Just wondering. Just wondering.
Okay.
Because again, they had to get Peloton's permission to have the bike there, use the name, and make up a character. So they already had to get the permission. And Sex and the City is a staple of New York, and Peloton is based out of New York. People know that the guy that created Peloton is because he and his wife have a lifestyle. They live in Upper Manhattan. They had kids and they couldn't get out to the boutique. I'm doing air quotation. This is the real story. They couldn't get out to the boutique workouts that they used to do. So he created the Peloton bike. Cool. Anybody on Peloton, y'all come join me for a ride. I love my Peloton. I'm there. I'm riding. I'm meditating. I'm there. We doing big things with Peloton. I took a bereavement day today. I've been crying since yesterday. My mother has been checking on me because this has been a big deal. This is hard. I was not expecting this. Not the first episode. I would like to have gotten through. I just feel like we have been watching 6 seasons. We've had 2 movies, all building up around Carrie and Big's love. And then to lose him in the first episode, that was heartbreaking. Yeah. So, and I just knew he wasn't going to die. I just knew that episode 2 was going to be like us in a hospital. And then remember, we put this in the comments, but you didn't mention this when Charlotte said, "I cursed the day you were born," when she was. So those who have never seen the movies, the series, you have to watch it. Cause like Kempire said, a lot of things that are happening, you don't have to, but it helps to watch it. Cause a lot of things that are taking place are focused on what happened back in the series.
That is going to feel very, very different if you've never watched the show.
Well, no, they never watched it. It's just new to them, but it hits different if you've watched it. Yeah. You've then become and Bitsy's husband was Bobby. They got married in the Hamptons, and he wanted to sing extra for those in the back who had the back seats, who got the cheap seats in the back that didn't get it. He was a character. But here's the other thing. You kept saying Stanley gave you such moments just in these 2 episodes. Stanley's always giving us good, funny moments.
Yeah, but maybe because it's the first 2 episodes and Stanley is not always in the series. So it was always but he felt like a main character. But
I felt like in the first 3 seasons, he was a main character. Remember they went to go meet his grandmother. His grandmother wanted him to marry a woman. And he's not care. Oh, I just love Stanford.
I felt like he was a main character though this time around. I didn't feel like he was a main character before. He felt like a side character.
But even in the first few seasons, you didn't think that in season 1, season 2, season 3. Oh, okay. Nope. I love the fact that Lily has ruined Carrie's life all over again. That's a thing because she ruined the first wedding. Remember when she hid the phone?
Yes.
And she answered it when Big called, and then the whole recital thing. Huh?
Good point.
Yeah, so when she hid the phone and cupcake purse, that was a bad purse. I'm here for the fashions. I'm here for all of it. Even if it fails, I'm here for it. I'm about to go back and start over with season 1 all over again. I'm just a fan. I didn't pull it. I have the board game. I have all the seasons on DVD.
All right, you're a bit much. I'm a fan, but come on now. All right. We got a long line backstage. I appreciate it.
But we have to talk more. Okay, bye.
We have she just hangs up. Oh Lord. All right, Kristen, I'm gonna bring you up. What's going on, Kristen?
Hey, Kempire. Oh, wait, hold on.
Hey, she's got her coldest water bottle, guys. Today is the last day, guys, before you can get your coldest water before the holidays. Anyways, Kristen, you were saying?
Okay, so first thing is the shoes were not the engagement gift. The engagement gift was the closet.
Oh.
She had bought the shoes. She had gone shopping and bought the shoes. And when he gave her the closet, she put them in the closet and then never got them back. So she had to go back to, the apartment to get the shoes. And Jennifer Hudson reminded her because it was the last day, and Big found her there because he was going to bring them to her. And that's when he proposed, and they, actually got married. And that's when they became her wedding shoes. And for those being wedding shoes, the fact that she was wearing them and they look that good to a child's recital, come on. Anyway, and then I don't think that Kim Cattrall will come back. And I think the way that they did her in this, just the very first episode, guaranteed it. Because the last public interaction between Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker was when Sarah Jessica Parker publicly made a condolence message after Kim Cattrall's brother died.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, but the last time you interacted was after her brother died, and now in the show your husband died, and she sends you a message you didn't want. Come on, she's not coming back. And I'm not saying that I think that Kim Cattrall's right. She has had years of a reputation of being difficult to work with. And I mean, like Chris Noth has said that she was difficult to work with on the show. And I mean, even like going back to the early 90s, like Kim Cattrall got flack in the early 90s for being difficult to work with. Like one incident was when she was in that Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
That Leonard Nimoy wrote. She showed up to the set with her own photographer to do a nude photo shoot with the ears on. Like on Leonard Nimoy's set, and to the Star Trek he wrote. So she's kind of always been herself before everyone else, And so, Mannequin was a great movie. Mannequin was a great movie. But I think this honestly, I think this is a love letter to the fans more than anything. Yeah. And I think it's, about how to kind of age gracefully and all that. And I was really excited to see where these women are entering the golden years of their life, as opposed to, when they were in their 20s, in their 30s, then in their 40s, and then we kind of missed out after they all got to the point where they would start being menopausal, that the show stopped. Yeah. So now they're all post-menopausal. So it's like, yeah, okay, Miranda wants to go be an activist now. Well, that makes sense because, Miranda she was like a partner in her own law firm. Of course she could go be an activist now. She doesn't need to work anymore. And Carrie can now write for fun because Big was like a venture capitalist, multi-millionaire. Yeah. And I mean, obviously Charlotte, she got her $1 million divorce and then married the divorce lawyer. So she's always been fine. And I mean, I just feel like they kind of all progress to that point where now whatever they do, professionally, they can show it or not on the show because it isn't really part of their storyline. They're not at that stage of life anymore trying to build a career. They already have careers. Now they can walk away from them if they want to. Just like a woman who was, had built a career over however many decades could at that point potentially, if they were in that echelon of society, say, I've made enough money, I can walk away.
Yeah.
So I think this is a love letter to the fans, but the way they portrayed Kim Cattrall, I don't think oh my God, my mind's going blank. Samantha, the way they portrayed Samantha as inappropriately sending something to a funeral after Sarah Jessica Parker inappropriately, sent a message following her brother's funeral, that to me was like thumbing their noses at her.
Wow. See,
that's how I took it. So that's how I took it. But that was it.
So now you gave me something to think about.
That was it.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah. Bye.
Oh. Wow. See, this is why I like having these conversations, guys, because I'm like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Damn you. All right, Erica, I'm going to bring you up. What's going on, Erica?
Hey.
How are you?
I was inspired. How are you?
I'm well. How are you today?
Good. So I have my Vinci leather shoes here. These are my birthday shoes. Aren't they cute?
Oh.
Yeah. So I got these out. Listen, I'm doing two things. So my company's virtual holiday party at the same time. But this is more important. I'm just saying. Wait a minute. Let me be quiet. Whatever. It's okay. And It's just a holiday party. And then I'm drinking on this Buzz Ball. Let me tell y'all this.
Buzzball?
I'm not paid, but this is really crazy because it's 15% alcohol. So I'm gonna ease up on this because I need to eat. I haven't eaten, but this little thing punches a pack. So where do I begin? That funeral, it took me out. I was bawling. You would have thought that a family member died. I'm so serious. I'm already emotional, but every scene, it was just, the tears were just coming. They were just coming. I really felt like we lost like an uncle. I don't know. Uncle-in-law, you know.
Something. We lost something.
My rich uncle-in-law.
If only, Lord.
If only that was true. But man, I really felt this. Man, I would have wanted more exes of Biggs to be at the funeral, like Natasha. Remember the woman that him and Carrie would cheat? You know, he had the hair.
She's gonna make an appearance next episode, I think.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any previews.
Mm-hmm. She's definitely making an appearance. I don't know if it's next week's episode, but she definitely makes an appearance this season.
Yes, I love it. I don't know what she's gonna say. Maybe there's some issue with the will. I don't know. No, because he's married to Carrie. They've been married for years. But that
don't mean nothing.
I know. We gotta mix this up, you know. I really want Nicole Ari Parker to shine. I hope that she will. She looked gorgeous when she came to Charlotte's house. Were those like bracelets or earrings? Those little.
I had to rewind. I was like, what is going on?
Dress. I loved it. I don't know what it was doing, but I'm gonna just get a dress and put some earring hoops on it and make it do something. I really want her to shine. I was thinking she was going to be the comedic relief, but she's not that type of actress. No. And then again, I don't know if I want the Black woman to be the, you know what I'm saying, the comedy of it all. But I am missing that from this. So the original Sex and the City, that's a comedy, right? Was that? Yeah. And this is like a drama. So I do want them to lighten it up. I was hoping Stanford and what's his name?
Anthony.
Was his husband name? Yes. I was hoping that they would bring in more of the punch that they used to in the series. So there's still time. Let me see what else. Kim coming back will be great just for that reason, because she was comedy. She was our Marnie Blanche. You know, she was just dipping in and doing it. So that piece is missing. I would like to see how if she got her legs up in the air at 60. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all the goals, but
that was part of the reason why Kim didn't want to do it. She was like, I don't want to be playing that character.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Okay, well, yeah. So moving on, do you think they're gonna have like Carrie dating? Like, are we going back there with Carrie dating on like 55 and up dating apps?
Well, I mean, that's real. That's happening.
I know. But I don't want them. Do we want them to get too real? Because, you know, the Sex and the City was a bubble. They didn't talk about nothing current. You wouldn't even thought nothing else existed.
Well, I just don't want this. You saw they're changing that with this. They're definitely, because they were in this bubble. People are saying that when you look back at the episodes, it's like,
yeah, nothing was PC about it. But I don't know. I hope they just have a balance about it. Just a little balance. They tried with the Black Charlotte thing. I was like, okay. I didn't cringe a little bit, but I was like, okay, you can take it. You can go a little edgy how y'all used to be. That's fine. Yeah. And last name. So what is Carrie's job? Seriously.
Well, she's a podcaster. She's an influencer.
She was taking IG videos. You're funny. I didn't but she kept calling the lady her boss. So yeah, that's why I thought it was her podcast and she was a guest. But then she kept saying, Miranda, you're not listening to my podcast. Why are you calling her your boss? And she was, you know what I'm saying?
Technically, it's not her podcast. She's on the podcast, but it's not her podcast.
Got it. There's a little change.
The co-host, though.
Okay, little co-host. She is not. That is not for her. It's not for her. And last thing, I love Divorce. You was tripping. It was good. Divorce was good.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. Now let me go jingle.
Go to your holiday virtual party. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, if you're just joining us, we are talking about the Sex and the City reboot. And just like that, if you're watching the replay of this, I want to know your thoughts on this. Be sure to have that conversation in the comment section. Let's get to some more calls because the backstage is full. Callers, I have not eaten, and it's almost 7 o'clock. You see my face? All right. Miss Brooklyn, I'm going to bring you up. What's going on, Miss Brooklyn?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. Had to get my shoes out, so I have my Betsy Johnsons.
Ooh. Okay.
My shoes.
All right, those are sparkly.
I love sparkles. Anything that shines. I'm a sparkle kind of girl.
I'm glad you're getting into the theme of things.
Yeah. I'm loving the reboot. And it's bringing me back because actually I have 2 daughters and now they have daughters. I'm just that old. Yeah. Anyway, we watched Sex in the City together when they were they were growing up. So now it's like, oh, it's back again. So I'm looking at it and I like what they're doing. I like that they are taking these women in an older direction because this wasn't written for the kids now. It's written for us. It's written for those of us who were in the 90s, fell in love with Sex in the City, fell in love with the whole idea and the glam, and you kind of got into the Manola Blahniks and all of that because you saw it on the show. And now you're back and it's like, yeah, you're 50, you're 55, you're 60, and all of a sudden life is different. No, she's not. She doesn't. And that was the thing I wanted to kind of clarify a little bit because even my daughter and I were talking about it today. Mm-hmm. Carrie didn't talk about sex. She talked about relationships and how sex played into relationships. But all her writing was about the relationship and the dynamics of, sex in a relationship, in a new relationship when it becomes boring. But it was always about relationships. This podcast was really like sex. And it's, when you think about it, at 55, you're not still talking about what you were talking about at 30. You grow, you change, kind of like, just to diverge a little bit, huge Prince fan. Huge Prince fan. At 20, at 20, Prince was talking about, head and I want to be your lover and some other stuff that I won't say because I respect your podcast. But anybody who doesn't know, go listen to some of his B-sides and wanting to do something with the taste in somebody's mouth and all that other stuff. But at 50, Prince wasn't saying that. He grew as a person. He grew as an artist. You don't sing the same songs that you're singing at 50 that you were singing at 20. Same thing with Sex in the City and the characters. You're not talking about the same things that you were talking about at 20, 30, that you're at 50 once you've lived life, once you've gotten married, once you've had kids, once you've gone through divorces, once you've gone through all this life, your conversations change. And I appreciate that. I don't want to just see the same old. I can't relate to that, but I can relate to the back pain. I can relate to needing a sleeping pill. I can relate to wanting to drink at 11 o'clock in the morning. I can relate to all of that.
Okay.
And I do think there's going to be something interesting with the secretary. I think there's going to be something very interesting going there because the emphasis put on her, to me, shows that something with her is going to come back in a writing style. Like, why would you put so much emphasis on the secretary, so much emphasis on the secretary breaking down, so much emphasis on the interaction with the secretary, if there's not going to be something coming back and her saying, oh, we have all those papers to sign? There's going to be something with the secretary that's going to come up. I do think, keep an eye out on that. Something's going to happen there. Wow. I do think the door was left open for Samantha to come back, and I pray she does, because she is who I want to be when I grow up. I've always said that. When I grow up, I want to be Samantha. And I do think that there's going to be a problem with Miranda with the drinking problem, which I think is going to be kind of interesting and dynamic, because didn't Steve's mother have a drinking problem?
Holy crap. Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a little bit of an interesting shift, that she's going to be the one with the drinking problem now, or drinking secretly. So it's like little things that I'm picking up on. I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic. And I think this critics can go jump, because you don't make a movie, you don't make a TV show, we make it. And I loved it. I think it was a solid 8, and it has the ability to be a 10. And I'm there for it. I'm there for it all day and all night.
Miss Brooklyn, thank you so much for calling in.
See ya. Have a good weekend.
You too. All right, we're going to get to all. We have a long line of people backstage, guys. So people that are calling in, be brief, or I won't take all the calls. All right. JDW, I'm going to bring you up. What's going on?
Hi, Kempire. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be really quick. I'm happy to be back in the Sex and the City universe. You just be right back where we left off. It really is its own entity. Like when you're in it, you're in it. So I was happy to be back. I was not ready for teenage Sex and the City with Brady. Like that was too much. And I was really surprised at how Steve and Miranda were handling it, like so casually, because I thought out of all of them, Miranda would be more of a hard ass when it came to raising her child. And to another point, someone else spoke about the continuity of his age bothered me as well, because he should be like in college by now. So I was like, why is he 17? Why is he still in the house? Like he could have kind of like came back, like, hey, I'm coming back from college for the funeral or whatever. And if he is in the home, why isn't he kind of educating her on being quote unquote woke? Like this is a generation. His generation are front and center on the front lines, you know, doing all these things instead of him being this sex crazed teenager like we're in the 80s. He needs to be kind of like that conduit for her to kind of open up if she hasn't already, with them being in Brooklyn for so long.
Right.
You know, so it's like that kind of made me mad. Not made me mad, I'm sorry. It just kind of threw me. Also, the evolution of Charlotte, she's still the same. And I kind of wish that since she has, she's done planning her family and her daughters are older, I kind of wish she kind of maybe had gone back to work. Like she was in the gallery scene. Maybe the gallery could have hosted the funeral. Because like, oh, this is my gallery. Like that was the whole vibe. Like I thought that could have elevated Charlotte a little bit more. She hasn't really grown. She's still weepy and sensitive, and she's too old for that. I feel like.
But in reality, for the people that we know in our lives, there are people that have not changed in the last few years.
Mm-hmm. I love seeing Harry. I love seeing Steve. I like their dynamic together. I like when all the guys were together in the movie and they were like, I like that camaraderie. And I kind of felt like I liked how Steve was emotional about losing Dick, like they had a relationship. I kind of also wanted them to mention what happened to Magda. Like that could have been like, oh, I haven't felt this way since Magda passed away. Like what happened to her? You know, I know Brady got older. They may not have needed her, but she was a part of the family. So I kind of wish she was mentioned in that way.
You never know.
You never know. She might come back. I don't know. I wrote down Susan Sharon. What was the reason? I don't know why. Out of everybody, they called back to her from so many seasons ago. I didn't understand that. And a lot of people I saw in another comment section, they were confusing her with the lady who made Carrie like pay for her own shoes. Something about her losing her shoes. And I was like, that's not her. I was screaming. I was like, that's not her. That was Tatum O'Neal. Okay. And it was a completely separate character. That would have been someone who was memorable to bring back as well. Yeah. But yeah, that was really all my points. I do agree about Gloria being instrumental in some way down the line. Maybe something with the divorce didn't go through. Maybe she knows something about Natasha. Maybe he has a baby. I don't know.
Not a baby.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I do want to see more of the professor and more of the professor's husband because he was fine. And that's about it. I'm excited. I'm happy you're recapping. I will be here every week for the recaps. I have on slippers right now. I didn't get the memo. We had to, come together with the shoes, but I have my slippers.
Now you know the memo for next week. All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for being
here.
Have a good night. Bye. All right. I keep telling y'all, it's now 7:00. I want to talk with you all as well. First of all, I'm standing. So I'm standing for this last hour and a half. All right. Shady Gal, I'm gonna bring you up.
Oh God. I can't even be shady today. Mr. Big gone up to the upper room.
Not the upper room.
Rest in peace, your man. Oh man, Mr. Big. Okay, to age myself, I was one of those naughty kids who was watching Sex and the City when I knew I had no right to, and my mom was gonna tear my hind part up if she caught me. So to leap back into this after over a decade since the last movie, it has been emotional for me and my friends because we all watched it. Apparently, we were all bad children. So I was hurt about Big dying, but it made sense because I think some of us forget Big is like 10 plus years older than Carrie.
Yeah.
He had a cardiac event in like the last season. I almost died then. Then he made up his mind, okay, I'm gonna stop BSing around and Carrie's who I want. He went and got her from Paris. Yeah. But man, it's still, oh my God, I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt. He still was Mr. Big. He was still that charismatic man, like that personality, loved him. And now next season we still gotta deal with death because they have to address Stanford's death.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why we only get a couple episodes with him because the actor actually had cancer and died of cancer in real life, and he just may not have been well enough to continue on the show. But it is good to be back. And it's good to be back in a realistic way because one thing I did notice when watching Sex and the City tonight, baby, it was white.
Yeah.
Like, where the color people at? Where the color at? I know some people may not enjoy that they are bringing in all these different BIPOC people. I'm like, but that's realistic of New York.
Yeah.
New York wasn't white. You don't go to the white restaurants to eat. No, where you go to the delicatessens. You go to the Chinese places or all these other ethnic restaurants. We're good enough for you to eat there, but you're not gonna put us on the screen.
Yeah.
But really great way to enter back into the series. I think people need to take notes because this is how you do it.
Yeah.
It was a decent balance of comedy and drama. It wasn't as much comedy as I wanted because, of course, we didn't have Samantha. But I hope Kim Cattrall could see the money. It will let the money speak more than her pride.
Making $1 million an episode.
Could have, and not to mention as an EP, you add another check on top of that. Like, girl, the bag. What you had to get the bag. We in the panorama. You didn't want to get the bag.
She fumbled it.
She fumbled it big time, worse than Atlanta. This was an Atlanta Falcons fumble. Terrible. You know, they'll win all the way to the end and just lose. Just out of nowhere. Like how? But I'm excited for this series. I'm talking with all like my aunts and stuff who are now realizing that my bad little butt was watching this back in the day, sex scenes and all. And so we're all enjoying this. I'm so excited that you're reviewing this. Can't wait. Keep it up, ladies. Can we get at least 2 more seasons? This is worth renewing. Okay.
I think it will be.
Yeah. Please, dear God. Don't do what Will and Grace did. Will and Grace was good like that first renewal season, then it went like, doo. So let's keep it pushing.
All right. Shady Gal, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, Kempire. You have a great evening. Eat something, baby. You're looking thin.
Goodbye. All right. Ashley, Sheila, Shantae, Turkia, and Tatiana. Those are going to be our last callers. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Sex and the City reboot. We're live on multiple platforms. Of course, TikTok. What's going on TikTok? I am sorry. I have not been paying attention over here. We're also live on Facebook, TheKempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow me on those platforms as well. But of course, we are live on the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. Be sure to check out all of what you missed this week on the channel. It's not just reality TV, as you can see. We're talking about Sex and the City, but also everything in pop culture. All right, let's get into it. Ashley, I'm going to bring you up. What's going on, Ashley?
Oh my God, I actually made it. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I wrote down my points. I have my Bagley Mishkas that I've never worn, and I have them for years, and they're too pretty to open.
What?
So,
yes. See them?
You can see them. I'm gonna take them out as I'm talking to y'all. I just had to say, like, look at this. This is all like still in here. So I just have to say, I really did appreciate how they spoke about Carrie and Samantha's relationship and the disintegration of that, because I even watched the prequel, which was on the CW, Carrie Diaries, and they were friends when Carrie was like 18, 19 years old. So I can understand how a friendship of nearly 40 years, because it's like, you know, like, girl, what are you talking about? You know, I got you. And now you don't. So now I feel some type of way. So I definitely understood that. So, like, I appreciated that part. I wrote down my notes. Yep. And then Charlotte has always hated Big. I have always hated Big as well. Yes. He was a prick. Just like, what's her name? Susan Sharon said. Yes, he was a prick and he was horrible to her. And I also, like, I loved her with Aiden. That's just, I don't care what nobody say. I'm gonna stick beside him. Like, I loved her with Aiden. But then when I think about it, Big didn't deserve Carrie. Carrie didn't deserve Aiden. That's like how I'm gonna, talk about it. Like, let me look at my notes. But also too, and how it, like, Charlotte hated Big all the time, which may have been why she felt so emotional also. Because even in the movie, when he did that to her no, that part. Yeah. So, like, I get it. I'm that type of friend. Like, he messed with my friend, I don't mess with him no more. I don't care if you marry him. I ain't never gonna forget. But these are my baggy mishkas that I've worn.
Okay. I'm glad. How did you wear them though?
Years.
Okay, why haven't you worn them?
They're just so pretty.
But they're meant to be worn.
They are meant to be worn, and it just, like, my soul. I just be looking at it like, look at this flower. Like,
Life is short. Big died.
As he should have. I didn't shed no tears, but that was a beautiful funeral. I didn't. That's how, like, I religiously watched season 3 and 4 just because of the Aiden and Carrie relationship. But Carrie got me, like, I get my dresses made for weddings. So at her funeral, the funeral for Big, I was like, I may have to get a dress made like that for a wedding I go to next.
Please wear those shoes.
Oh.
Life is short.
I will. Thank you so much for having me. I'm, like, so excited, and I watch you all the time for Real Housewives Atlanta. Always Portia Wallin, but it is what it is. Her family be cutting her up, and I love every single piece of it. Now I am a Dennis fan. Simon gotta go.
Oh, all right.
We'll talk. Thank you.
Go wear those shoes.
I will.
All right, I forgot a super chat. Danielle, thank you so much for the super chat. Danielle says, remember when Natasha chipped her tooth? Yes, running down the steps. Oh my gosh. I'm not excited about Natasha coming back, but I think they're going to make it worth our while. Thank you, Danielle, for the super chat. Oh, I didn't want to shimmy on, Mr. Big's funeral day. Anyways, all right. Sheila, I'm going to bring you up. What's going on, Sheila?
Hi, Kempire. So I didn't know we were supposed to bring, like, our Sex in the City gear, and I look like a hot mess right now, so that wouldn't happen going on camera. Yeah, to the prior caller, I just wanted to remind her that it's Charlotte that sent Big to Paris to bring Carrie back. So she didn't always hate Big. She hated the way he treated Carrie. But I will say I watched at 3:00 this morning with tears streaming down my face. I lived in Manhattan in the late 90s, and that's when I was an investment banker, and I lived the life of the girls in Sex in the City. I went to many of the places, Cafeteria, Chaos, Magnolia Bakery, and Real Time. So yeah, it was really kind of heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching to watch the whole dynamics and where they are in life currently.
Yeah.
I will say that I think the scene with Kim Cattrall, the flowers from Samantha, the producers have said they want to leave the door open to her for the second season.
Yeah.
So because there were rumors about them killing her character off when they first decided to shoot this. So they're still hoping that she will come back. And I miss her in the show. She brought a sense of spiciness and comedic elements that the other women don't bring. So I would like to see that. regarding the wokeness in the show,
Mhm.
it was a bit of a downer for me in that first episode. But you're right, that is the world that we live in right now. And the 90s, they were such a different time, from our music to the way we went about life. And I'm really going to say, like, pre 9/11, it was a very different world for us. And
Yeah.
now I feel like you can't say anything without offending people and them wanting to, whether it's wokeness or the whole cancel culture thing. And like, Sex and the City, the original, I don't think it could be filmed today. I think
No,
that they would offend, like, way too many people.
no.
Then let's see. I wrote some notes because people made so many great points.
Mhm.
Oh, regarding his secretary, big secretary, and I think that that may be the intro for Natasha, because maybe he left something in his will to Natasha because he really did her wrong.
Yeah,
Remember, he had the whole affair with Carrie. He was married to Natasha.
yeah.
He showed, that was another time that he broke Carrie's heart, but he showed up out of the blue, all of a sudden married to this younger woman, and then started having the affair with Carrie. And yeah, that's it. I'm just happy that you're covering it. We'll see where the show goes. And I think that Charlotte, I think it's just very true to her character. She was the most uptight of the group. And she
Still is.
always wanted the married Upper East Side life. She married the McDougal first, and then he couldn't get it up, and they had all kinds. His mother, Bunny, or whatever. I think her name was Bunny. So, yes. So the whole thing is great, but I do love that they have brought more diversity in the cast, because that was my one sticking point, like back in the 90s, because I actually did live that life. Our friends were
Sheila, they should have wrote
yeah.
about you.
What happened?
They should have wrote about you.
Oh, the stories. We have some even more scandalous stories than what I
Oh,
see on
the 90s?
Oh, yes, in New York City in the 90s? Oh, yes.
I've heard
Definitely.
stories. Look, I've heard
Oh,
stories.
definitely.
I would never
From
have
the Upper East Side to the meatpacking district, when it was truly the meatpacking district,
Mm.
and Lotus opened. Yeah, good times.
Sheila, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening,
You too.
everyone.
You know what? Sheila brings up a good point, because, and we have to be patient. This was just the first 2 episodes of And Just Like That, the Sex and the City reboot. Remember, we're going to be introduced to additional new characters. I don't think Nicole Ari Parker is going to be that character, but I have a feeling this other woman that we're going to be introduced, I can't think of her name right now, but she's been in other things. I have a feeling she might be our Samantha, or Samantha-esque character. I already can sense a little sass. Carrie, thank you so much for the super chat. Carrie says, I thought Brady was funny. I could see Brady being funny, but I forgot who brought it up. Yeah, Brady, at the age that he's at, he should be that one guiding Miranda with her stuff. But we also have to remember, in real life, there are kids just like Brady that aren't guiding their parents and is just thinking about sex. Let's be real. But I would have liked to see that. Maybe that would be Lily. Maybe that will be Rose. I see that in Rose, Charlotte's little girl. I see that in Rose. Thank you so much for the super chat, Carrie. Dr. Payne, thank you so much for the super chat. Dr. Payne says, I hope the E channel watches your show and makes you an incredible offer. You're sweet. You're very sweet. Thank you so much for that. It better be a good offer. No, I'm joking. Carrie, thank you so much again for this for another super chat. I love that my name is Carrie, just spelled differently. Carrie. I love that my name is Carrie, just spelled differently. Okay. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hold on. I see we got another one. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Lauren. Who remembers the Susan Sharon character is the fictional Dorinda? Did someone say that? Dorinda seems more likable, though, than Susan. And wouldn't it be fantastic if they brought Dorinda on the show? That's the only housewife I would want to see on Sex and the City, to be honest. Let's be real. All right, let me get to these last couple of callers because I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm real with you guys. I'm hungry. All right. All I had was eggnog. Shantae, I'm gonna bring you up. What's going on, Shantae? Shantae? You're muted. Shantae? Sashay, Shantae? All right. We're going to pull you down. Tatiana, I'm gonna bring you up. What's going on, Tatiana?
Hey, long time no speak.
How you been?
I've been good. I was kind of listening while I was at work. I'm usually not showing my face because I'm always looking rough because I'm always coming off of work. But anyway, make this quick because I know you need to eat. Is it just me, or I feel like Rose is going to come out as either gay or trans? I feel like she's not. I think that Harry already knows. She just has to tell
Charlotte.
Yep.
I can see that.
I feel like there's something there, and I think we're going to have to deal with Charlotte having a nervous breakdown with this because, Charlotte can't handle water. So
can't handle water.
So we're going to deal with that. Next thing, first off, I love Brady, the person who is who's the actor.
Yes.
Who's playing Brady. I loved him in Life in Pieces. He's always, he loves a good comedy. That was a good show. And him being the way he is here, it just is, he's almost playing the same character, a sex crazed teenager.
Lord.
So that kind of transferred over. Anyway, quick criticism. I do not like, and I'm going to call her because I cannot remember her name on the show, but Kelly Torres from Grey's Anatomy.
Yes. Because her name on the show is Shay Diaz.
Che. Yeah, because she asked, okay, anyway. I'm not liking her character right now.
Really? Why?
I just feel like it's too much. Like, it's almost like, okay, she's non-binary, but she was a bouncer. Like, you're making her lean more lesbian, trans man than just non-binary. I am who I am. Just accept me. And I don't like the stereotypes. Anyway, Charlotte.
That goes with some people feeling like they're trying to lean too much to the wokeness.
I feel like they're missing the mark on certain points. I like that they're getting the white woman guilt with Miranda. So she's trying too hard. I like that because it is happening. I mean, I'm pretty sure you dealt with it the same way when everything was going down with George Floyd and everything. How many white people reached out to you like you were the one who got, knock on wood. But anyway, like everybody was treating that like they needed to check on every single Black person they've ever encountered. Anyway. The Susan Sharon thing, I was like, unless she's basically flat out asking for an apology for her suggesting that if you do not like the way your man is treating you, leave, which would seem like a thing to do for her to blame everybody but her situation.
Yeah.
I don't get why she's mad at her if that's not the reason.
I think it was to add from the past.
Yeah. Kim Cattrall is not coming back. She is getting paid a lot of money to be the narrator for How I Met Your Father.
Oh.
Yeah, she got that job. And plus, without a flat out saying that she blames Sarah Jessica Parker and the other EPs for Sex and the City, she blamed them for her divorce because at some point, according to her in some article, and if I find it, I will definitely text you with it. She was basically saying that her and her husband were trying to have kids and they basically came back to her with, what would Samantha look like pregnant? She is not that person.
Oh.
So she chose her career, and as a result, she lost her family.
Wow.
So that, I think, was another reason why she was having issues with them. And then my last point was, Charlotte was crying like she lost her husband.
But isn't that Charlotte?
It is Charlotte, but I'm like, dang, girl, your husband is right here. And I feel like it was guilt that she was like, oh, this is Lily's thing. Because, you know, Charlotte does not have anything right now. She's a mom and a wife. And I feel like, you know, her somewhat self-absorbedness did, you know, guilt people into doing, I wouldn't say her bidding, but like, this is an extension of me. Oh, one last thing, and then I'm gonna go. Sorry. Stanford and Anthony, they're getting divorced.
I don't think they're gonna get divorced.
I think they are. I think Big's death was something that they were like, we're gonna try harder, but even still, as they're like, oh my gosh, this was a stupid fight, they're still nitpicking at each other. Stanford, and it seemed like everybody was making Big's funeral about them.
Rightfully so.
Stanford, oh, I need to be by my best friend and I need my husband next to me. He wasn't even really showing that he was grieving. Charlotte crying because she felt some type of guilt over it. Everybody was kind of Susan Sharon, and I apologize. I forgive you. Let's move on. Everybody was kind of bitsy and making it about her loss. Everybody was making Big's funeral about them and really not about Carrie.
Yeah, good point.
It's just something that I really noticed.
That's a really
and
good
with that, I will let you go.
Thank you, Tatiana. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, some very good points. You guys are bringing up excellent points. For those that are watching the replay of this, I want to know your points. What did you pick up from episode 1 and episode 2 of the Sex and the City reboot? And just like that, let's continue that conversation. We're going to continue to recap this every single week. I'm going to take one last call. Shantae, I do see you, but let me say thank you. Layla Lynn. First of all, Layla, we need to talk. I didn't know that you were into Sex and the City like I am. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hold on. Carrie, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm a redhead. I'm 50. Wait, I'm a redhead. I'm 54. Wish Miranda kept her hair red. Don't be surprised she brings it back. Don't be surprised she brings it back. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right. Shantae. Testing. You're muted. Shantae, I can't hear you. Shantae, something's not working.
Hi.
Here we go. I don't want to hang up on Shantae.
So I am so in mourning for him, even though I didn't like him and I thought he was not good enough for Carrie, but I do not want to see Aiden come back because Aiden was too good for Carrie. Aiden has moved on. Aiden is a good husband and a good father to Tatum's mother and Tatum. Remember that kid's name. He has a child. We're not going back.
He's coming back though.
I'm thinking, because like I said, that was a good catch everybody made about Gloria and how she was boohoo sobbing. And it was just kind of weird to kind of focus on it if there was nothing behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then not only that, but you saw how they immediately cut to Sharon saying, are we going to forget how much of a prick he was to her? So there's a connection. Yeah. It may or may not be that maybe, because we know Big was never really fully 100% committed to Carrie, no matter how often they got back together, because they broke up and got back together. He kept letting her down, stood her up at the altar, even though he still married her. So who's to say that he didn't get cold feet during the marriage and maybe went creeping back to something familiar, which was Natasha? Or or just maybe cheated, period. I don't think he was faithful to Carrie. That also may have something to do with the fact, do you remember, I think it was it 2 where she kissed Aiden, or was it the first one? It was the second one.
The second one.
Remember when she kissed Aiden and she confessed to Big and he gave her that ring?
Yes.
You know, cheaters usually will give gifts when they're guilty or when they feel bad about cheating on their spouse. So for him, the fact that Carrie did so much as just kiss somebody, and he probably had been going all in, doing a lot more than kissing, that ring was a guilt gift. They can write that way now. So, and it would be so fitting and appropriate because that's how we know Big to be, how he treated Carrie all this time. It would be like, oh yeah, surprise.
All right.
So that's where my mind is with that.
Really?
I'm so sad that Big is gone. That's the thing. I'm so sad about him being gone.
Hated him, but you're still sad.
Say what now?
No, I said you hated him, but you're still sad.
I didn't really hate him. I just didn't like how he treated her. Like I said, he always was letting her down. I think he just wanted to be one of those guys that was a bachelor. And he was probably lying to himself, trying to, be committed to Carrie, marrying Natasha. So there may or may not have been anything behind Natasha coming back. Maybe she's just going to come back and they're just going to be very melancholy and having a friendship because they did both love Big. But I do think there's something behind that. Maybe he stepped out and did a little more, and Gloria knows, but she's sworn to secrecy. But I definitely think Big was up to his old tricks.
Damn. This is how we're going to end this conversation. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Oh.
Until next week, baby.
Bye, Shantae. I can't. Is that how we started this off with a lovely memorial service for Big? We're ending it with Big was trifling and probably had another woman while he was married to Carrie. Well, that's what happens. That's what happens, guys. I love hearing your opinions. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Let me just get to these super chats before I go. Again, thank you to everyone that sends in super chats. Thank you to everyone that sends in PayPal. I get these after the live because I'm literally live on TikTok as well. Hey, TikTok. And the Cash Apps, the Venmos. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting the channel and everything that we do here. This allows me to be here on a Friday night. No. It allows us to do some of the things that we love to do here on the channel, like, look, when we play around with graphics and stuff, and the festivities and all. I'm dropping things up backstage here. So thank you to everyone that's in the super chats and the Cash Apps and Venmos and things like that. Courtney, thank you so much for the super chat. Courtney says, no more subways, we want aspiration. But look, even when I got a little coin, I live in New York City. I'm not going to be, always in a taxi, especially in New York nowadays. Trying to get around in a car is almost impossible. Let's be real. I'm just saying. Yes, necessary, but look at what's his name. I just literally saw a TikTok with what's his name from $1 Million Listing. Ryan Serhant. He has a lot of money. He still takes the train. He doesn't take it a lot. But he still takes the train because it's sometimes the fastest way to get somewhere. I understand. You want to get in a taxi. But remember, this is the age of Uber. Poor taxis are suffering right now. Anyways. Thank you to everyone that sent in the super chat. Thank you to everyone that called in. Thank you to our Team Kempire Royal Court members. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, head on over to TeamKempire.com. And of course, because we had so many trolls, thank you to our moderators. I appreciate you guys keeping the conversation lovely. I didn't realize. I was like, I don't know if they're going to like me going live to talk about this, but I want to do it anyway because I love Sex and the City. And I have loved Sex and the City for a very, very long time. So just wanted to say thank you guys for being here. We're going to do this again next week. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. Follow me at my texting community as well, because I will send you reminders there as well. Head on over to textkempire.com for more details. Thank you to everyone that called in. Thank you to everyone that was part of the conversation. This was a fun time. This was 2 hours, y'all. I did not expect this to be 2 hours, but it's okay. Let's get out of here. Let's change up the mood. I got to put on some Christmas music or something because Oh, this is a little depressing too, but whatever. It's the holidays, y'all. Let's get out of here. Drop those crowns and elephants in the chat, y'all. Don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel.